control you, and you'll crash. You know, that's why a lot of people, like a lot of famous people, you know, they'll go to drugs, you know, or go to other habits. Cause a lot of times, like, just because you famous don't mean you made out of steel. You still human, no matter what. Like, but the thing is, people don't understand it. They think you're higher than them, so that's why you got a lot of folks trying to act just as like the stars. But you know, yeah.
And one thing too, I realized that, and we also discussed this on the Men of Radio show that we did a couple weeks ago, that us being public figures or being people that are well known as far as this area is concerned, you're not allowed to make the same mistakes as other people.
Yeah.
That is really hard.
Yeah, you gotta watch, like, some stuff you can't say no more, like you can't do no more.
Yes.
I know, for example, Facebook, you can't put the same thing you put on Facebook no more, because I know I'll be wanting to put a lot of things on there that I gotta think I can't put the same thing I used to put on there, so it's different. When you're on that road, like road to riches, you know, road to success, you gotta change your path up. There's a lot of things you gotta do different, but you can't do the same.
Say, Ron, being a broadcaster here in this area of Calhoun County, Alabama, you know, I know you all have a show. They have a show called Can You Relate that comes on TV, the TV 24 station here in Jacksonville, Alabama. They reach out to over 300,000 people an episode. That's quite a large number of people. It's almost 500,000 people. And their goal is to try to make the show national, a national talk show. Do you feel the brunt or the stress of that public eye, of that publicity that stars usually get? Even in this small level, just of reaching out to 300,000 people, that's still a lot of people.
Right.
Do you kind of feel that same way about that stardom, or this, wow, a lot of people know me, or I have to do this, or I have to do that?
Well, let me be quite honest, Brother Moore, and this is something that I feel we haven't really dealt with as much in depth. And when you talk about a situation with a Whitney Houston and a Michael Jackson and a Don Cornelius, and these people that are in the public spotlight, just like me and the brothers, Brother Cliff, Brother James, we're in the public eye. What has to happen, no matter what, like I would really hope if I end up through Can You Relate television show making $1 million, $2 million, that the very same people in my inner circle, in my family, they still hold me accountable and hold me to certain standards that I've exhibited when I didn't have $1 million. And one thing that we see in this national media, and the problem I'm seeing, is that the accountability seems to go off the more money you get. And if we're just honest, especially in the African American community, because we haven't always had millions and millions of dollars. And the more money it seems like some of our people make in the community, the less accountable they are. Well, it's okay, Michael, you can do this, that, and the other. Like, I fully can't even blame a Conrad Murray, because family members, close friends of a Michael Jackson knew he had an issue. We don't know the full case and full story behind Whitney Houston just yet, and not to demonize or anything, because it's still beautiful sister, beautiful life that she led. But we know in the past she had issues. Well, again, the more money people are making, the less accountable it seems that they are. And I will be danged if a Brother Cliff or Brother James, no matter how successful we become in our endeavors, and even you, Brother Moore, you've had us on the show, you open your doors to us, and we'll be doing the same for you. But no matter how successful we become in these ventures, if we say it's for the people, if we say it's for the community, we got to hold each other accountable. If I see you out there doing something crazy, I see you out there not handling your business as a young man, as somebody that's a public figure in the public spotlight, I need to say something to you, not to demonize you, not to judge you, but to say, hey, man, you may want to rethink that and stay in your face. Again, my favorite song by Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You. Well, love isn't always just sweet and doves flying in the air and little bunnies hopping across rivers and ponds. Love is sometimes tough. Love is getting in your family member's face and saying, look, I'm sorry, sister or niece. You're in a domestic violence situation. You need to get up out that thing. Now, am I going to beat you over the head with it all the time? No. But I'm trying to hold you accountable for what you're doing, regardless of your social status, regardless of how much money you have. I'm doing my best as a human being, because I care about you, to hold you accountable for the standards that we all, I like the words you always use, Cliff, our ways. What are our ways as a family? Where have we been and where are we going? That always has to stay in perspective, because then we get in a situation like this and everybody wants to get sad and everybody's all, oh, poor Whitney, poor Whitney. But dang, we knew other things were going on before to even get to this point. And that's the thing that just frustrates me a little. So, I'm sorry, a long but short answer to your question. I feel in the public spotlight, and especially with me as an individual, that you always have to hold these people, including myself, accountable for the positions that we're in. To whom much is given, much is required. And I believe that solely to my heart, to my soul, and to my spirit. And we have to hold each other accountable, especially if we love each other. That's my personal opinion.
I also think, man, we've spoken a lot tonight about, the individual and the responsibility of that individual. But a lot of blame has to be placed on our society, man, because, how
Right.
we hold these celebrities, the godlike, personas, the godlike, that's the type of thing that we project on these celebrities. I mean, it's almost a godlike thing. You'll see a person and, people faint and, lose control of themselves and start crying. I mean, this is a human being, man. I mean, they sing, they touch our spirit, and they do that. But the way we look at these celebrities and the way we celebrate them and we put them on these pedestals, we put these human beings in situations to almost to the point where they have to, implode. I mean, how can a human being put up with everywhere you go? I mean, you can't go to the grocery store. You can't do simple things in life that it should be the right of every human being. And yes, of course, these people understand this when they get into these fields. But with that said, I mean, sometimes as a society, we have to step back and, stop, expanding on every little bitty thing that these people do. This celebrity came out of the club and, oh man, they fell down because they were drunk. I mean, and it's like every little thing that they do is under a microscope, and it's our fault that a lot of these celebrities turn to, whatever the case is, to try to find some type of touch of reality. If we create a reality for them, then a lot of times we won't have that problem. But as long as we keep these people in a position where they don't want to go outside, they don't want to be seen, they don't want this and they don't want that. I mean, we force that upon them because we want so much from them. Why can't we just look at them and say, wow, that's Whitney. Hey, Whitney, love your album, and keep stepping. You got to pull on them, you got to tug on them, you got to tear their clothes off. You want to attack them. And so, what individual, and I ask you, that's why we were saying nobody can understand a magnitude of that type of fame. And, nobody can say, well, Whitney should do, nobody can pass judgment on this woman, because if nothing else, and Steve Harvey spoke about this morning, this woman had a gift. She had a gift from God, and she fulfilled her gift till its fullest extent. She couldn't go any farther with that. So how many of us take advantage? And first of all, how many of us even know what our gift is? And how many of us fulfill our gift to its fullest potential before we start pointing fingers and saying this individual is this and then it's almost sickening to me, man. I understand the public outcry and everything, but hey, the lady had problems just like everybody sitting in this room, just like everybody listening to this broadcast. Everybody had that. But because she was Whitney, everything, you can't turn on TV without listening to, the speculation about what happened to this woman. She's gone, okay? And this is somebody's mother, this is somebody's daughter, this is somebody's aunt. Why does these, her kids, I couldn't even imagine, how a daughter is feeling right now. She can't do anything without hearing about her mother. And this is the media, this is our society, this is what we want. And again, man, it's sad.
Shay, you said you wanted to.
I just want to comment that if anybody knows, it's what everyone's saying, I totally agree, and they have very great points. And I think what other people can notice that everyone see a cycle. Look where all these major iconic artists are going to. They're going to other things, not going to their families, not going to their friends. They're going to drugs. And I'm taking abnormal psychology and plus taking drugs use and abuse in my courses. When you have no one to turn to, when you have no one you can trust, your own family members, I think everybody knows sometimes strangers are more trustworthy than your own family members. When you get into a position, all of a sudden you have people who to turn on you. How does that feel? Then imagine 10 times worse when the whole entire world, billions of people looking at your every move, the way you dress, to what you're eating, to what you're doing. How would you feel? So when you can't turn to, now that's what they turn into. They turn into drugs, because drugs they are, such as cocaine or heroin or any other drugs, they're like learning the history of it. They were basically supposed to help you calm down. They help you get into a happy state, but that state don't last long. And so it gets addicted because you need something to make you happy, because wherever you turn to, it's not making you happy. These lead to such as anxiety disorders, panic disorders, schizophrenia. These things lead to many health issues. And with these, as we learn, even in the normal society, it's easier to give medicine than to give real therapy to help you cope with your issues in a positive way. The first thing they want to do is, give you some medicine, that'll help, because they don't want to listen to your problems. They don't care. And with them having more money, it's about the money. It's not about helping the individual anymore. It's about the money. The more money you have, to be honest with you, the more problems you have. Of course, everybody heard that term. So look at these artists and what they're going through. Imagine, and everybody they could have did this, they could have did that. But be in their shoes, and everyone has been in their shoes. Look at it. How would you feel if you have no one and no one to turn to? So who do you turn to?
I must say that briefly, I'm trying to figure out the best way to put this. Briefly, last season when this show first started, I kind of went through the same thing on a very, very, very small level. Like I said, prominence is prominence. Being known is being known, whether it's on the local level, the state level, the national level, or the worldwide level. In Whitney Houston's case, it was a worldwide level. Everyone around the world knew who Whitney Houston was. You are people who are prominent in local communities, politicians, community leaders, governors, senators, people who are known locally go through these types of things, these anxiety attacks. I actually did some research a couple days ago. There is actually something called fame anxiety, when all these people are starting to know who you are. Like, for instance, people who sign up for these national contests, American Idol, or So You Think You Can Dance, things like that. And let's just say if they win. In less than 30 minutes, the whole world knows who they are. In less than 30 minutes, their name is circling around every social networking site in the world. And there was a case where an individual, a young lady, had won one of these national contests, and she had an anxiety attack, literally, because although she was happy that she won, it was the pressure of knowing that everybody in the world knew who she was just so much. It was too much, and she basically just broke down and had a panic attack. Well, like I said, I went through something very, very small in a very small stage of that last season when this show first started, just because of the publicity that I knew that the show would be getting, and the amount of people in this town that would know who I was, and people on the we have a social networking site. We have where people, anyone around the world can see that. Anyone around this country can see that. So all of a sudden, I was getting all these different emails from people I had no idea who they were, telling me about my show. And a lot of times, you also get very stressed because you don't know what people are saying about you or the work that you do. You don't know whether they're saying good things or bad things. When you walk into a room full of people who know who you are and know your work, and they're looking at you, you don't know if they're looking at you in a good way or a bad way. That can be tough. That can be very tough.
And in response to that, I don't remember who said it, but one of them were saying how up until she died, you know, after she died, everyone was talking about how great she was and all the good things she did and everything like that. And I think being in the public eye today, you know, if I were to go outside and suddenly become famous, I'd get nothing but, you know, oh, well, she should do this or she should do that. She should change her image in some way. And I think being under that kind of pressure pushes people who have become that star status into doing things so that they can feel normal. Like Shay was saying, that they do these things so that they can get that normalcy which they lost in becoming part of the public eye. And people don't understand that, like, once you become